Hello, hello, and welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I am thrilled that you're here with us. We're going to talk about something uh, that isn't talked about, and I call it the social poison pill. What the heck is a social poison pill? Well, we're going to talk about this because the one thing that we don't talk about is a thing called envy. And my guest today, you've seen her before, and I have her back, and I'm thrilled, is Kim Sorrelle. And you can see in the background, but this is the book that Kim wrote. It's Love Is. And the book is an exploration of love. And, a lot of you folks have heard me say that my whole podcast and everything that we do here is all about love. It's all about love and bringing a little bit of love, a little bit more love into the world and helping people one person at a time. And so anyway, we're just going to get right into this. We're going to talk about love does not envy and what that means. And we don't talk about nobody talks about envy. So I'm so thrilled. Kim, welcome back to Finding Better. Thank you for joining me.
John, it is my pleasure for sure to be
It
here. Thank you.
it is amazing. Your book is amazing. You are amazing. And you have 14 chapters in this book, and this is the third chapter. We talked about love is patient, and patience is love. And love is kind, and kindness is love. And we're going to talk about love does not envy. And oh my gosh, you talk about a man who's got a problem, who's had a problem with envy in a lot of cases. This is perfect, and something that I think a lot of folks can learn a lot from, as they work to live a happier and better life. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about give us the Reader's Digest Cliff Note version of your experience with envy.
Well, I'll tell you, John, I took one word of these 14 words, one word or verse a month, and focused on
Yes.
it the entire month. And it always took me to the end of the month before I got hit over the head with what the answer was. When I was going into envy, it was like, well, of course, love doesn't envy. Envy is one of the seven deadly sins, right? So
Yeah.
it's a bad word. You think of envy, and it is. It's a bad word. So you go from patience and kindness to envy, and it was quite a transition.
Yeah, because you're going, be patient, be kind, and then all of a sudden, don't do this, right? Do this,
Right.
do this. Don't, so you're making that shift. And I went through the same thing. At first I'm like, oh, love is kind. Of course, I'm kind. I'm kind to everybody, right? Love is patient. I'm patient. I'm patient. But over my journey, as I've learned about these things, it's amazing the depth of which you can go into in learning about what these things really mean.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah,
And envy is one of those that they
yeah,
all are, but envy is just one of those that's a tough word
it
because
is.
it's so easy. It's so easy to look at your neighbor and go, man, I wish I got his new car. What's he doing with a new car? Whatever. But envy, we use the word jealous the wrong way often, I
Right.
think. Like I know I do. Like I'll
Yep.
say, John, look at your bookcase. I was so jealous. Well, I'm not coveting in my heart. It's what's in my heart, right? I'm not coveting your bookcase. I don't want your bookcase, but I'm happy for you that you have your bookcase. There's no word for that in the English language. And so we just say jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous. You get to go to Japan. I'm so,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah.
But envy is in the heart. And envy is going, I want that they have. And
Yeah,
why do they
envy
have it and I
and
don't?
and envy is way beyond admiration,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It has really nothing to do with admiration.
Right.
It has everything to do with scarcity um, and wanting, right?
Yes.
So it can be easy for us sometimes to go, man, if they've got that much money, there's only so much money in the world. That means what's my potential? How can I have that much money? We kind of live often in this state of scarcity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But instead, if we went, wow, they've got that much money, good for them. I could do that. I could work hard to do that, or
Yes,
whatever it is, and be happy for them and realize that there's not only so much to go around, or look at somebody's relationship and go, oh, guy, they've got a really great marriage. There's probably only so many really great marriages. So what does that mean for my marriage? No, there's endless number of great marriages. It doesn't
absolutely.
mean bad for you.
And
Good
you
for
can have one
them.
too. You can have one
Yes,
too. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Good for them does not mean bad for you.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And it is one of those things where, I found in my personal experience that when I find myself in that position of envy, and I've learned to get out of it really, really fast, right, over the years, because it's a dark place. It's a dark place. It's not a place I want to be because I start thinking negatively about that person or that situation. And I'm like, and then I start feeling, then it hurts me and my emotional health because I start feeling negative about myself and why don't I have those things and what's wrong with me? And so yeah, I have found that it's a really dark place to be. And I once one of the things I raised my kids with is, and oh my gosh, they've grown into the people I want to become when I grow up. And but one of the things I always told them is, there's two ways to make yourself better than somebody else. One, go out and make yourself better. If you see somebody out there that you admire or you see somebody that you envy, why can't go out and do it? Do what they did, right? And
Right.
and and I said, so that's the first way is build yourself. The second way is to knock people down and to make them look less or worse than you. I said, never, ever, ever, ever put yourself in that position, right? You have amazing abilities. Everybody's got amazing abilities. Everybody's got the same 6 or 7 inches between your ears. Right? Go out
Right.
and do it, right? Because when you're being negative and you harm other people, it really does harm you. And so the whole envy part of it is okay. And I'll pose this back to you as a question, right? When somebody finds himself um, uh, in this mode, in this dark place, what do you do? What do you do when you find yourself there?
I check myself and I think, why am I thinking this way?
Hmm.
Why are you envious? Why are you feeling that way toward anyone?
Right.
Because what they have has nothing to do with what you have. Who they are has nothing to do with who you are. You are
That's
who you
right.
are. And remind yourself that you are a masterpiece created by the master. Like, you're one of a kind, you're special in your special way. And so if you want recognition for that, or not even recognition, but be able to live as you are, as you were created to be, you need to let other people be who they were created to be and do the things that they think are right for them, because you don't control them, you don't get to choose for them. So just be happy for people. Be happy for people. And when you make that mind shift, and when you're just happy for people instead of going, why don't I have, or why am I not?
Or they're terrible people. So why is this happening to them? Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right, right. Yeah. I mean, there's so many examples in history, right,
yeah.
of people being so envious that it leads to murder, or it leads to
That's right.
destruction.
Really bad thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
really bad things. But unhappiness is not a fun thing all by itself.
That's
And
right.
so if you're happy for people and just love them and not worry about what you have or don't have, you figure it out. You figure out yourself and let them figure out themselves, and just be happy for them.
Yeah. You kind of said it all right there. When you can be happy for other people, genuinely happy for other people, it lifts you. It lifts your spirit. It lifts who you are, right? I mean, when I'm happy for other people, I feel happier. And one of the things that you just said also is that you're not them. You're not them. You are a unique individual. And the fact of the matter is, another thing that I've learned is everybody has got something going on in their lives that you have no clue what's happening, right? Everybody. And even people you're close to have got challenges going on in their lives. I mean, bad things. And you find yourself in a crowd at the mall. I mean, how many of those people have cancer? I mean, how many of those people are broke? How many of those people are having relationship problems? How many of those? I mean, there's every, we tend to look at the cool stuff, and we tend to look at people and go, why are they so lucky? You have no idea. You have no idea what else is going on in their lives, and so that helps me as I look at people. I go, what else is going? I look at guys like Bill Gates, and I look at Steve Jobs, and I look at these giants of industry, and you go, wow, look at those guys. They're so lucky. Maybe luck had a little bit to do with it, but those people worked harder than anybody on planet Earth. And the other part of it is that as successful as we admire them to be, um, their family life sucked. I mean, they broke that they're broken families, and so from that standpoint, and this is not a dig on Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. I have the great, I mean, they both changed our lives and changed the worlds in ways that we can't even imagine. But there's always something. There's always something. And just always remember, I'm sorry, I'll let you talk but I just want to say this one last thing. Social media has had so much to do with envy, and people wanting the world to envy them, by living in some cases fake lives, right?
Right. Right. Well, and we're seeing that, right? And so we're becoming more aware of that. And
Yeah,
so then it can also be when you're looking at somebody saying, I've got the greatest marriage. My husband is the greatest guy, that in the back of your head, you're thinking, I bet she's lying.
that's right. That's
Right.
right.
Well,
That's
that's
right.
that's not right either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take her at her word. Great. Good for you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't mean bad for me. It just means good for you.
That's right. That good point. Good point. But yeah, we live in such a hard world now, these days. And life's not fair. That's another thing I tell my kids all the time. Life's not fair. And you just keep going at it. You just keep working at it. You keep building yourself, and be happy for other people. And I'll tell you, like you said, when you can make that shift and make that mind shift and make that heart shift, it changes you. It really changes you. And you feel it. You
Yeah, it
feel it.
changes you and it changes how people view you.
Talk about that. Talk about
Well,
that.
you can tell if somebody congratulates you on something, you've gotten a promotion, you've gotten a reward. When somebody congratulates you, you know if it's sincere or
That's
if
true.
they're thinking, I wish it was me, or something else, right? You know
Yes,
when it's sincere. And so if you take envy out of the picture, then when you say congratulations to somebody or great job or whatever, it's sincere. It's for real because envy isn't a part of your life. You've thrown envy away. It's not there anymore. So there's no room for any little glitch in your congratulations. It's for real. It's legitimate, and people know you know when somebody is sincere.
that's right. That's amazing because when someone's sincere in their congratulations, you feel better about them, and it gets you closer to them. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And with friendships, I think, uh, sometimes we talk about people, they're
Sure.
whatever. And gosh, did you see that they just got this new house and they don't really need this new house? How can they afford it or whatever?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who
Who cares?
cares?
Right? I mean,
Exactly.
really,
Be
when it
happy
comes
for them.
down to it, I kind of think the same thing. This probably is going to sound terrible, but about what goes on in Washington, because so much of it has no effect on my day-to-day life. So much of it just has no effect on me. And so it's the same thing with what other people are doing and what's going on and what they're getting and their promotions, their whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with me. So I can just be happy for them.
Wow. Wow. You talk about a shift. You said I mean what I think you just said, I can be happy for the people in Washington, D.C. So it's like, what? That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
you're right.
certainly.
You're right. You're so right because there were a number of election cycles ago that I just decided I just got so disgusted with the whole thing. I just turned it all off. I turned it for months. I turned it all off. And I just went on in my life, and I learned during those months, and maybe it might have been a year and a half, that you're right. None of that's. I mean, of course, it has to do with us because it's our country, right? But my day-to-day stuff, I was I was doing more harm to myself, getting worked up over what was going on. And I found that after those many months, I was happier. I was more relaxed. I was like, you know what? This is great.
Right, right. Well, and
Yeah.
you know, John, another thing that envy, if you don't envy, if you love with love that does not envy, is you don't look for flaws and you don't look
Yes.
for something bad to happen to somebody. You don't wish anything bad to happen to somebody. You
Yeah.
don't look for, okay, they've got all this, but what's wrong with them, or where am I better than them? You don't look for anything. You just are happy for it. You just love that way. That's it.
And it lifts you. It
Hmm.
lifts you. And that's the theme. I think that's the common theme that I'm learning from you, Kim, is that when you make that shift, you're shifting yourself. And when you make that lift, you're lifting yourself,
Mm.
right? And
Absolutely.
so my initial comment about this being a poison pill, it really is. It really is, right? So just stop taking that pill.
Right. Right.
Right?
Just be
Just
happy
stop
for
taking it.
people. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. Oh my gosh. This is so simple and yet so powerful. And can you imagine a world and this is a problem that I have is that I am so hard on the world because I feel like the world is so hard these days. But can you imagine if we live in a world, if we lived in a world, and we can, that's why you and I are here, right? But if we lived in a world where we can shift that we can just make that shift in the energy and um and help people do that. I mean, I've always said that if you can help one person live a better life, you lift the world. You
Mm.
lift the world. And so I hope that folks listening to this conversation might learn something from it because it is so powerful.
And it's interesting how it circles back to you too, right?
Hmm.
Because you gotta love yourself. We've talked about that in previous episodes, but you
Yeah.
you need to love yourself, appreciate who you are. And if there's something you don't like about yourself, you have the power to change it. You can change, but love who you are, love who you're created to be, live who you're created to be, love yourself so that you can love others. So all of these go back to yourself as well, right? Be patient
Yes.
with yourself, be kind to yourself, and be
Yes.
happy, be grateful, which is the opposite of envy, right? When you turn the mirror on yourself, be grateful for the things that you have. And when you turn things into gratitude instead of, man, my house isn't as nice as theirs, they're going on this great vacation, whatever it is, and instead go, I love, thank you that I've got a roof over my head. Thank you that I've got food in my refrigerator. Thank you that I got enough clothes. Thank you. Thank you for what you do have. Thank you for my health. Be grateful. Have gratitude for what you do have. Then envy has no room.
I want to unpack a couple of things that you said. You just said that was amazing because you talked about loving yourself, right? And you can change. You can change. You can absolutely change. But there's one thing that you can't change, and that's the past. And you can't change things that you've done. You can't undo them. And so learning to forgive yourself as well as part of that change process is so, so important. We talk about forgiving others. As much as important, it's as important for us to forgive ourselves as it is to love ourselves. And that's a message that I hope some people will take to heart. The other thing is this is gratitude and living with thanks. For a lot of people, it is so, so hard to live in a world of gratitude because they don't see what they have to be thankful for. Something as simple as your health, right? You want to learn how to be grateful for your health. Wait until you land in the hospital someday,
Right.
right?
Right.
You want to be grateful for your home. Wait till you find yourself in a situation where your home is destroyed, or you lose your home, or something happens, right? That one thing that makes me grateful all the time is traveling. When I go in a lot of cases, I can't wait to get home just to this country, you know. And I'm, just and I've learned to be grateful for running water, for crying out loud.
Mhm. But
You
you
know,
can drink right out of the faucet, right?
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And
Yes.
clean, and you don't have to walk 3 miles to carry 10 pounds of water back to
Uh-huh.
your house, and anyway, you're absolutely gratitude is and I love how you placed it, how you stated it. The gratitude is kind of the antidote, or the kind of the opposite of envy,
Mhm.
and trying to find yourself there as well. We have talked about so much, Kim, in this podcast episode, and we're going to talk about more, right? And we're going to go into depth a little bit more about all these things. I mean, we've talked about envy, and we've talked about gratitude, and we've talked about forgiveness, we talked about abundance, and we've talked about a lot of things. And I'm going to go back and re-listen to this episode a few times just to unpack some of the things that we've talked about. Um, but yeah, any final thoughts on envy?
Don't do it, right? Just love.
Just drop it.
Just
Just
drop
don't
it.
do it. Yeah, yeah. And it is something. It is something that you can turn off. It's weird. It's like an on-off switch. Like you said earlier, when you find yourself in this mode, turn it off. Just turn it off and go, I'm not going to go there, right? And
Yeah.
uh, and it's amazing what it can do for your spirit, and it's amazing what it can do to and for your emotions and your emotional health. So
And,
Kim,
and for your relationships too, by the way, right?
oh,
So much, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you think about all the things that we talked about, and you focus that energy on your relationships. Folks, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. We have talked about so many amazing things here. I mean, I hope that you'll go back and listen and just write down some of the top bullets, and just think about, gratitude, and think about envy, and think about being happy for other people, right? And think about the opportunity that if you find yourself in that business, in that mode or that mindset, you can do something about it. If there's something you see out there, that go after it, go for it, build yourself up. You're amazing. You're amazing, and there's nothing you can't do. I know it sounds like a cliche, but holy smoke, this is why I'm doing this whole podcast, is to help help you just find better in your life. And this is why Kim is, I mean, oh my gosh, you're an amazing person. So just take those poison pills that you have in your on your desk and just throw them out and just take envy out of your life. It is an on-off switch. So Kim, uh amazing folks. This is the book again. It's called Love Is. You can get it on Amazon. It is one of the books that I have maybe a half dozen books that I have on my forever reading collection that I read over and over and over again. And Kim, thank you. How do people reach you?
KimSorrelle.com. I'm literally the only Kim Sorrelle spelled my way in the entire world because my last name's ridiculous. It has way too
What?
many
Where it
letters.
is? There it is.
Sorrelle, two R's, two E's, two L's. So I'm easy to find. Kim Sorrelle, KimSorrelle.com, Kim Sorrelle on social media, all the stuff.
Amazing, amazing. Kim, thank you again so much. I can't I can't wait to talk to you next month again about love does not boast.
No, that's a
Ooh.
big one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, folks, thank you for joining us. Kim, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Bye.